welcome everyone to another episode of the Lore Pod Podcast. I'm your host, Dakota Morgan, coming to you from Phoenix, Arizona. And today we're going to be diving into a pretty hit video game. Should have done this episode a lot sooner, but fuck it. We're going to be talking about the new extraction shooter Arc Raiders, one that's taken the gaming world by storm, by the way. I myself still have to play it, but I've heard plenty of good things. I've watched the Regulation podcast play it, and much more, so I really think it's going to be pretty cool. But today we're going to be going over the lore of Arc Raiders, because not too many people know too much about it. Things are hidden around the world in order for you to figure out what the storyline was, and then taking a look at the environment to kind of get an idea. So I've done some research over time and over new releases and shit to be able to get you all the true story of what happened in the world of Arc Raiders. Of course, so we know it's retro, futuristic in a way, but not Fallout retro, but in a way where it's more grounded kind of retro. And there's a really good reason for this too. So in the year 2180, Earth became very uninhabitable due to climate change and multiple large events that happened, such as big ass wars and shit. It just became uninhabitable. Now humans were forced into two groups of people: those who could escape into space rockets, and those who just had to survive underground. So those went to space, and then those went underground. That seems more realistic these days than I give credit for. Now, after some time, though, humanity began to face the Age of Sunrise, as it was called. This is when Earth began to return back to normal and began to flourish, actually. And we don't really know why yet, though we'll go back to that one in a second there. Now, people did return to the top side, though, with very little tech. Things weren't as high-tech as they once were, and we went back to the analog days and such in order to maintain the technology and, not have high-powered computer chips. Things are going to need to be analog. Now, they used tunnels in this timeline called tubes. Now, the tubes are high-powered, single, rocket tunnel systems on there. And those were actually made because they were able to transport people across the planet, across the world and shit at a high speed of rate. They used them for the planetary rockets. So if they needed to get people out really, really fast with the rockets, I guess super scientists or whoever the fuck, or let's be honest here, really rich people, they were able to put them in the tube and then ship them down to the rocket straight away for launch. And that in the game is what your person uses to actually go all across and go to the extraction areas. Now, after the Sunrise event, the Age of Sunrise, the Arcs, and these are the killer machines, actually, that you are facing in the game. All sorts of them in there. But this was actually only Wave 1 that appeared, and they weren't as advanced as the ones you currently play in the game. Well, currently fight and try to survive against in the game. And when they arrived, they did start to attack humans. Nobody knows why. First battle was the Battle of Victory Ridge. After that first battle, though, they actually, the second wave arrived, and right after that, huge casualties. So the second wave was the wave that we are facing currently as players, and that is when the mass amount of casualties began, because no one was really fucking prepared to it. But here's the thing, though, that before the second wave arrived, it was thought to be 20 to 30 years between waves 1 and 2, indicating there's a lot of damage done to the Earth, and it's still looking pretty good, but man, humanity's been through it in this world. This hate made humanity go back underground again in sunken cities, like the one that you actually started out in the game. And when you take out, though, you do officially surface what appear to be Italy in some areas in the game. Now, there's also some theories, though, but before we get into those, that is realistically what we know so far about the world of Arc Raiders here. This is what we know for sure what has happened. Now, there could be many more speculations that happen here, which we're going to get into, but either way, though, it's pretty cut, dry, and simple, but there's probably going to be some more things later on to actually show what happened. So as new content is released for Arc Raiders, it's going to be really important to keep an eye out for the lore, and when we get it, we'll add it. Now, there is some theories, though, getting into those real fast here. The Arcs were thought to be maybe collapsed tech, pre-collapsed tech, basically indicating this technology was made before the collapse of nature, the Earth and shit, and maybe they're going to use in special warfare stuff, but they were reactivated in some way. There's also the one where they are the ones that actually caused the collapse of the Earth, and maybe they were terraforming shit, and because they hate humanity, so maybe they were terraforming in order to cause the collapse and then just waited to attack. And then there's the other theory, though, that maybe the spacefaring group of people actually built these, and they're part of a thing to actually take back Earth for these people and kind of get rid of the remnants behind. Those, of course, are the theories, though, but this is a quick little thing of the Arc lore. Now, if I did forget anything, be sure to leave it in the comments down below if you're watching the YouTube page. If you're listening on the podcast, make sure you subscribe to the podcast podcasts, so you can catch new episodes wherever you catch podcasts. And of course, as always, my Instagram is at Dakota_Morgan97. My X is at DakotaMorgan3, and Twitch, CodaRex97. All this in the description box down below. Thanks, everybody, as always. Hopefully you enjoyed this episode here, because it's wild. And Heart Graders, I still have to play it again, and I'm really looking forward to it. I really am. Let me know what you guys think about this in the world of Heart Graders, and are you looking forward to more? Is it simple enough? Do you want to see it expand? Let me know. Thanks, everybody, and as always, stay creative.